After more than a decade behind bars, former Tanana Valley Clinic doctor Stephen Grandstaff is due to be released from prison in the coming months. In part one of an exclusive three-part interview, here's more now from News Center 11's Daryl Lewis.
Thanks and good evening. It's a profession built around the utmost trust, and at any given time, all of us will utilize the service. So it goes without saying that when one so trusted abuses it, it shakes everyone to their core being. Here in Fairbanks, such was the case during the late 1990s with State of Alaska versus former Tanana Valley Clinic doctor Stephen Grandstaff, a case that still has residual effects to this day. He was a trusted doctor, ironically serving a great many, including this reporter at the time. But in 1998, after receiving a phone call from investigators with the Fairbanks Police Department and reviewing a near 100-page criminal complaint that detailed over 100 counts, it became obvious to me this was no ordinary case. Now, this story cannot continue without a trip back to the past, and Grandstaff's behavior back in the late 1990s became very clear, according to state attorneys. Target already drug-addicted women, write phony prescriptions for them in exchange for sexual favors. Prosecution witnesses said as much during Grandstaff's jury trial back in 2000.
Not only absolutely inappropriate for a physician to have a sexual relationship with a patient that he or she is actively treating, but it is even more inappropriate to be prescribing controlled drugs to that person. Seeing a patient in the hospital when they're on a psychiatric unit with a serious overdose, knowing everything that is written in the chart in terms of the patient's extensive addiction history, and then only 4 days after the patient was discharged from the hospital, after the overdose, writing a prescription for a Schedule II narcotic analgesic is reckless.
4 women would take the witness stand and testify against the well-known doctor. After an extensive trial, Grandstaff was found guilty on 79 different counts and given a 20-year sentence. Fast forward to the present day, after serving 2/3 of his sentence and receiving good time, he's due to be released from jail in June, something the last surviving victim in the case finds troubling.
Grandstaff and his former employer, the Tanana Valley Clinic, were sued by one of the victims back in 2004. The suit sought more than $2 million in damages at the time, holding TVC liable and saying administrators knew of Grandstaff's illegal behavior and failed to act accordingly. That lawsuit was dismissed in 2007.